Hey guys, welcome back to Contest Prep University. I'm Joe Klemczewski with Adam Atkinson. Episode 4, speaking about the language of peaking. And Adam, I keep using the same client because he's in the middle of peak week right now, but I also have somebody who competed at a pro show, Fit Body, last weekend, and she, of course, did just great. She's an international competitor who's won pro titles in the past. But one of the reasons she's able to do that is because she can get so lean. And the reason she crossed over to Fit Body is she's got striated glutes. She's just unbelievably, quote, grainy. You see those shoulders, sliced, peeled, shredded, diced, any other word you could throw in there, as people do in these terms. That's what comes to your mind is when somebody's that lean. And in terms of peaking, like my client who I thought was getting a little bit softer as he got fuller, and the fullness was great, but we have to make sure tightness is the premier feature that he's going to have on stage. We had to pull him back a little bit. He dropped a couple pounds of weight overnight, water, and sent me pictures this morning, and the first words out of my mouth were, again, like, wow, you are shredded. You are just in grainy. That was the word that you brought in for this particular episode. So what can get you there? If that's the look we're describing, what actually makes somebody look that way when they need it, which would be on stage?
Yeah. First thing is always being lean enough. So that has to be there first. If you don't see that leanness throughout your contest prep, it's just not going to be there throughout peak week or on show day. Keeping the muscle tissues hydrated, and then making sure that any water you're putting in the body is directed in the muscle tissues. So making sure your sodium and potassium balance is good. And then therefore you will be shredded and grainy. So this usually applies to men and, like you said, women's physique competitors who are competing. You really, for a bikini competitor, you would never want to hear those terms come out of a coach's mouth.
And I agree. Body composition has to be there. That's what gives you the ability to be grainy. But if you're describing these things to a coach on contest day, especially, or through your photos, you mentioned the need, Adam, for communicating to your coach. If you're seeing just that super tight skin, and specifically, striations in the muscle tissue, really tiny fasciculating feather striations, that's what I would say. If I'm using a word like this, like I'm just grainier than ever, I'm whatever, sliced, peeled, that's just that kind of next step from tightness. We talked early on in the first couple episodes about tightness, and you can be tight, but when you got that extra little, like, this is perfect, I've never been this detailed may be another word, to go along with grainy, then that's something to pay attention to, because you probably have enough hydration, but as Adam said, it's in the muscle tissue where you want it. So you can start thinking of the variables in the context that got you to that point. That's something really important to pay attention to.
Absolutely. I've also noticed, masters competitors tend to get that shredded and grainy look a little easier than younger competitors. A lot of times muscle maturity is greater, and just therefore having thinner skin, just because lower collagen levels, you do tend to see that a little more in the masters.
Yeah, I remember being a youngster competing in my first contest 30 years ago. And as judges were talking about, the difference between you and that guy or this guy, everybody brings up that term to young competitors, muscle maturity. And there definitely is. I mean, it's a physiological fact that body fat tends to migrate internal. You get more intra-organ fat as you get older, a little less subcutaneous fat. And so in a sport like this, that visually can make a little bit of a difference. So yeah, I mean, I also have a competitor right now who is on the older side, plus 50, and she's got that graininess, but then the skin tightness because of loss of collagen is a little bit different. So there are places where the skin is a little bit less tight and dare I say saggier, but then other places where the skin tightness doesn't seem as pronounced in terms of a need. There's just that massive graininess in the delts and so forth.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, guys, we're gonna bring you one more episode in the series, helping you understand the language of peaking. So sit tight, and we'll see you next time in Contest Prep University.